If you were invited to join Jeffrey's club, would you? Money, power, status? The club has people who actually do the bad things, and people who are just around the bad things, and people who just know about the bad things and just look the other way. It's a big club. Jeffrey's club was in the thousands of people. Thousands of enablers from all walks of life. Corporations that give you special access, even though they know you're doing terrible things. Famous people who will give you a pass. Because the club has celebrities, politicians, royalty, scientists, health people, philanthropists, tech executives, the guy planning the 2028 LA Olympics, and the CEO of global institutions. The club is obsessed with traveling. Flight logs everywhere. If you're part of the club, you don't get to identify with a specific place. You are a citizen of the globe. You're always at conferences or Sundance Film Festival. Here's Whoopi Goldberg asking to borrow Jeffrey's plane to go to an event in Monaco. People in the club are always emailing each other to talk about where they are. Because information is kind of the lifeblood of the club. You use it to get an unfair advantage and win. Here's Jeffrey shorting the ruble based on unfair information. True friendship is definitely not part of the club. You can be mean to somebody in the club, that doesn't matter as long as they give you information. Because when you're part of the club, you are part of a mutual exchange of unfair advantages. Because the most important thing to people in the club is that they're better than other people. Here is Steve Bannon playing the role of the anti-globalist. Totally his identity, the architect of anti-globalist policies. Hanging out with one of the #1 globalists. Steve Bannon is literally in a club with the CEO of the World Economic Forum. Noam Chomsky, the critic of power structures, is in a club with literally the biggest capitalist in the world. Because if you're part of the club, you get to be unaccountable. Larry Summers loosens banking regulations in 2000. Obama acknowledges that leads to the 2008 financial crisis. And what does Obama do? He puts Larry Summers in his administration. Jess Staley, the head of JP Morgan that messed up with Jeffrey, he doesn't get fired like a regular person would. He gets promoted to be the CEO of another bank. These people just fail up because the club is corrupt to the core. We know this partly because lots of these members in the club were in the Pandora Papers released in 2021, which detailed secret offshore accounts of world leaders, billionaires, and celebrities. Documented offshore accounts of Tony Blair and Vladimir Zelensky, for example. Offshore accounts while you're fighting for anti-poverty. And the corruption of being in the club, it's such a part of your life that if you're in the club, you can ignore the 1,200 victims. Because if you join the club when no one's watching, you're basically a sociopath. But you get to travel, even if it means you have no sense of place or community. You get to signal that you're better than everybody else. Associations with these big brands cure your status anxiety completely. You know you're better. Because you're above regular people, you're part of the elite. Would you want to be part of this club? Or does being part of an actual community matter to you? Should we rely less on the places that create the club's members? Because we know that centralization leads to corruption. Seriously, would you want to be part of the club?